Good Friday morning, everybody out there. How we doing? We got our friends, our co-hosts, DK and Miss Ward.
What up? What up?
What's going on, y'all? Happy Friday, everyone.
I feel like my phone's on backwards. Anybody ever put their phone on backwards? There we go.
Hey,
There
I'm
it
in the
is.
same spot and I'm like this. And we got a surprise.
There it is. What's
Hey,
going on here?
Good morning, Service
It's a
Alliance
party now.
community.
We're getting
hey,
serious.
it's the PIMP in the building. Watch out.
What's up, y'all?
There he is. What's going on, man?
How you
Surprise.
Yeah. I got a little vent job by myself today, so I'm not. For once, I am not dictated by someone else's schedule. I get to go and take care of the customer on my own, so it'll be a good day.
Nice.
Awesome. It's a pretty now. What's that? Hey.
It's a
I think they're
pretty
talking
now.
about you, Zach.
Yeah, look at me.
Yeah, they ain't talking about Zach or Miss
You gotta do
Ward.
like this,
They ain't
Zach.
talking about me.
You gotta do like that.
I'm not pretty.
Do the Vanna White.
Oh, the regulators.
Regulators. Regulate any stealing of his or her property.
I haven't been on with Miss Ward, and it's been a minute. It has been a minute. I
Yeah.
missed you.
Zach
See,
reached out to
you
me
know,
behind the
everybody-
scenes while we were doing the countdown. I said, come on.
I know that's right. Hey,
It's a
everybody
party.
need a little round brown.
Yep,
They
yep.
said it's a party now. That's it.
We're here.
All right. Well, we got them all checking in now. Oh, we got the All-Star Fest 2 days in a row. We bringing the panel. So, Freestyle Friday. This is what we do. Hey, Doug, you want to come too? We got a party here. Four's probably enough. Though.
How many people can you put on this thing?
We can put 10, but it gets a little trippy.
That would be crazy. We should do one Friday. We should just do a all access membership. Anybody can join.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be
First
fun.
10 get to be on screen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
So, Freestyle Friday, we don't even know what's going to happen. We didn't know what's going to happen when we started it. Now we got Zach joining in. So
That's
We've
just
been
because you're
talking
old, Doug.
Doug needs a nap every day.
Oh, happy anniversary, Doug. Late belated anniversary.
What was that, Wednesday, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Freestyle Friday, we're talking about team building, team chemistry, team culture, team unity all week. So, we thought it'd be interesting to get Miss Ward's take on it. She's got quite a interesting team because they're scattered all over the country, seems like. Oh, somebody else.
I was trying to let you focus, so I was going to take the comments for you, buddy.
Go ahead, because I get distracted. Doug, 20 years. 20 years married.
Yep.
So, all right, so
brother.
What we do here, if you're not accustomed to this, we do Bible and business. We do a little prayer to get everybody prayed up for their journey today, and then we talk about business. So, who wants to do the prayer today?
I'll be happy to do it, but I just got a prayer request. I've been struggling this week a lot, real stressed out, letting things get to me and being reactive instead of responsive to issues and things that have arisen. I kind of lost my cool a little bit yesterday in front of a couple of my team and had to go back and apologize. I didn't go off on them. I just went off about a situation. So I really need prayer that God just gives me some guidance in that and some wisdom and that I just, I tell y'all all the time, it's a constant struggle for me. I'm such an emotional person that I often let my emotions dictate my reactions rather than thinking things through. So I just need prayer for that. That I can be a little more level-headed and calm and collective.
Absolutely. Miss Ward, you want to do the honors?
Absolutely. I'm down for it. Lord, thank you for gathering us all together this morning. To all of those that hear us this morning live and those that will hear us in the future. Lord, give us the ability and the humility to understand in all things that we all want more of you and less of us to show up in our humanity. We understand we are not perfect and that only perfection comes from God. Lord, thank you for the blessings you are giving to us and our staff and our challenges that we have daily and the ability to not only bless us, to give us the tools to manage the blessings and be great stewards of it so that our territories will extend mentally, spiritually, emotionally, financially, and physically. Lord, for all the ears that can hear, please give us patience, allow us to walk in our anointing that you have blessed us all individually with, and for us to realize that our gifts that are not for us, they're for the world, so that we can show and glow like you do for us. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Ms. Ward.
No problem.
Oh.
TK,
my dog heard your voice and it came in here like, who's that?
New people.
There's some spirit going on.
TK, that was the perfect continuation of the topic from the week, right? Like, what is the best way to build company culture? Own your shit, right? Like,
oh, yeah.
You do something wrong, you go off and you lose control of your emotions in front of your team. The best way to build company culture is to own that, to move forward from the mistake. Hey guys, that wasn't right. I know it wasn't right. You know what? I'm working on it. I'm a work in progress, right? Like, love it. Love it. Absolutely love it, man.
Yeah.
Me and TK were talking about this last night even. And I'll tell you, if you're not a leader or even part of a team, you can use this in your home, in your personal relationships. Some of us forget, me included, when we do those types of things in front of our kids even, or our spouse, our friends. My friends work for me. I hate saying that. They work with me because they do the work more than I do. They'll let you know that. But That's great. I have found freedom in admitting my wrongs. And I carried this stuff for years. And then it wasn't until I got to a recovery program to treat my brain problems, my thinking problem, that I started to own all the crap that's happened to me in my life. Like all this stuff I thought people were causing in my life, I was the only one that was present for all of them. Mm-hmm. If I can own my crap, then I'm free of it. And yeah, you'll get to set the example in front of other people as well. And that's the great part.
It's a humbling experience, and it's even more humbling when you have another leader call you out on it. I just had that growth experience on Sunday, right? Like I was matching energy with one of the volunteers on Sunday morning. And I was just short. I wasn't mean, I wasn't angry. I just very brief. We all know that I tend to be very brief. So I'm very brief with him. Yeah, I was my normal Sheldon. But he's a more sensitive individual. He doesn't respond to that type of thing, but I was matching his energy. And the pastor came up to me and goes, "Hey man, just remember, like he's a more sensitive person. He's more sensitive to how you respond to him." And I walked away and I thought about it, and I came back and I said, "You know what? I was matching energy." And that was on me not catching that I was matching the energy that he was giving off. I should have caught that and sent something back different. And so it's always a chance to learn and grow when you have a moment like that. So it's cool that you share that, TK.
Yeah. And thanks for Scott owning up to his own mistake for showing up late. He would not be the kind that would blame his lack of punctuality on anybody else.
Yeah, especially not his dog.
Yeah.
Not ever. Not ever.
So
I've heard that excuse before.
Miss Ward, you're the VIP today, and every day.
The Oracle.
You have that interesting team set up. Not everybody sees everybody, especially not frequently, and you have to travel to touch and see and speak with in person to each of your members of your team. How have you built the team, and how do you keep that culture?
Well, it was really something that was happenstance. This wasn't I always tell people this was not the plan. One day I'll be able to change that, but it came about out of necessity because, I was working with people and coaching people, and they were trying to get in the industry, and they just really, when you're a one-man shop, you deal with isolation and you do the best you know how in that scope, which may just be your cerebral, your brain, cerebral area. You can watch YouTube, you can do this, but until you're hands-on in certain experiences or environments, you're not going to excel because you can't work those mental and spiritual and and technical muscles. So they kind of developed when I started coaching people. And when I started coaching people, first with my subs, I started where I live, which is in South Florida. I would always meet guys at the Parks House, blah, blah, blah. So from those experiences, I would vet people. I would vet how they dealt with the people at Marcone. I would vet their technical knowledge. Because, when you interview people, talk to people, they want to tell you they can work on everything. They really can. And I always like to ask people what they like working on. What do they have a propensity for, and focus on those areas, because I'm one of those people, I'm laser. That's why my company's called Laser Appliance Repair. I believe in focusing and honing on your skills and strengths, and then how do I bring that in the fold to make us, to help us become successful. So what I found is when I was in South Florida, when I was bringing on subs, a lot of them had their own businesses, or either they were working for companies and they wanted to make some money on the side, or they wanted to get into their own thing. So it became a reciprocating relationship where I'd help them on the business side, they helped me on the tech side, and they would take on a couple of jobs. I found guys weren't using technical support, they weren't using this stuff at it, they weren't comfortable downloading manuals. They were really pattern recognition or what I learned from where I used to work. A lot of people don't understand that. So in doing that, I was able to develop certain packages. And so when I was dealing with these people, I would look at their strengths. Like, for instance, my background is corporate management in a non-traditional field. Okay. So I used to work in automotive for 30 years, and I managed the entire Southeast region, which was North Carolina, South Carolina, Florida, Georgia, Alabama, all that stuff. And I had techs all over. So I would go into these areas and I would always come through the shop first and deal with the hands-on guys. So the reason I'm able to manage these people remotely is because that's my background. I'm accustomed to being on the ground. But with each person, I have an individual relationship. Like my guy that works for me in Savannah, he has his own thing going, but he's a very militaristic type guy. So his management style is very different. He needs the details. He don't need the fluff. He didn't know what he's working on. He needs to make sure that when he's dealing with the client, he already has the model number. He has the recorded conversations my team has with the client goes directly to him. So he's also hearing the client talk about, what's wrong with the refrigerator, what's not cooling. And at the same time, he's learning how to run his own business the way from watching how I run mine. So he's seeing, like, a lot of people don't understand till they really see. So a lot of guys might penny pinch and they're using Google, like we were talking the other day. They're using Square. They're using all these hodgepodge, and they can't bring things together because they don't understand why we do it that way. When I'm sending stuff through Workies and I'm sending these recorded conversations or Zoom, and I'm using that one app, they can see it. That, you know what I mean? So I deal with, number one, when I vet the people I deal with, they have to be self-sufficient because I'm not babysitting grown folks and I'm not re-raising them. So I'm not trying to bring on an employee that's a headache or a problem. I'm not to nurture you from apprentice to wherever. That's not my role because I didn't build my business that way. Now, when you got the guys, I understand how to do that, but for me, it's too time consuming. So one thing is that when I hire the guys I work with or the subs I'm working with, they're at a certain level. If you don't show up, you're not on time, you're giving me drama with customers, it'll never happen because I already vetted your ass from the beginning. I'm looking at how you're dressed. I'm looking at how you speak. I'm looking at how you move. I'm looking at how you work and how you present yourself as a person. So I eliminate a lot of the issues. You understand that a lot of people have. So my guys are really good when I meet them. Now some of them got some of that drama, and I have to make sure they keep their personal drama out of my stuff. But that's another coaching opportunity because a lot of people don't know how to separate church and state when it comes to business. But that's because we're human. A lot of people just haven't been coached or disciplined in that area. Like one person, people tell me, like my partner's always telling me how disciplined I am. And I'll be looking at her like, really? So you think I am? I'm just keeping I'm keeping the prisoner in order. You know what I'm saying? So when I'm
That's
dealing
right.
with those guys, it's not a problem for me to travel. I just make sure they have what they need. And early on, I had issues with one guy where I would send him what do you call it? The water valve, the ice maker together and a filter or whatever, because I'm anal. I don't want any recalls. So he'll go and he'll say, oh, I just cleaned out the drain tube. Like, dummy, what do you mean you just cleaned out the tube, the spout, when it's the valve is weeping, dummy? Like, I didn't say that, but I want to say that.
Why
But I
would I
have to
send you with parts? Like, what was
myself.
the point of that? Yeah.
Yeah, but you got to understand that's how they have been doing business in their business. But then they had to understand you're not, because in South Florida I had a big problem with a lot of my techs because they were thinking they were saving me money. I'm like, you're not saving me money, number one, and it's not your business, number two.
So how
This
do you
is my
break that mindset? Like, how do you
yeah,
break that mindset in them?
yeah. And how did I break the mindset? Is I put my foot in their ass.
Well, that
There you
didn't
go.
work for
You
me.
heard it here, folks. If you want to break that mindset, you got to put
And
your
when
foot
I
in
say
that ass.
I'm chuckling, but the reality is, when you stand your ground from the beginning, the only reason people have problems with employees is they don't have structure and discipline from the door. They bend and they're flexible. And the problem is, it's your business, not their business. So, time you show some flexibility and humanity in the beginning, you got a problem, because then they like, okay, I can manipulate you like I manipulate my mom and grandma. You feel me? Nah, that's not the real
Right.
world, because dollars and cents. Employees do not understand. I love HR. Hey, hey, Doug, I got to tell you the story about in corporate. My HR department in corporate used to give the people that work for me the silent disclaimer. Once you go through those doors, we don't even know you, because they knew I managed very differently. But the reality is, when you deal with staff, you first of all, like I tell people, look at the Chick-fil-A model. They have a blueprint. They don't lower their standards no matter what community they're serving, and they're very clear. They got the personality test, all this. They know exactly the caliber of employee they need. And a lot of people, they hire anybody because they don't take the pay, they don't take the time, because they get in desperation. That's why you have to keep a bench. Oh, how do I keep a bench when nobody's there? There's a couple of things you can home grow. For you guys that got the family-based businesses, or the businesses where you're pulling from your community. Mine happens to be basically almost global. And that's only because I met these technicians and they were in certain areas, and that's why I can cover what I cover. But I never overextend myself. I'm always begged to go do more than what we can do feasibly and still keep a good brand and a good name and a great, I can't do that. I don't, because it's not about the money for me. It's about me being able to manage and still be at peace. I can still challenge myself and keep my skill set at an elite level, but I don't overextend because of my own personal growth. It's still work I'm doing on me as a person, as a business owner, as a manager, as a friend, as a partner. And I can't do that and do this. You know what I mean? So that's basically how I do it.
Absolutely.
What you tolerate permeates. I love that. I love the way you said it. Like what you're letting happen in your company is what's going to keep happening.
Yeah.
So unless you put in the structure, you put in the safeguards in place,
Yeah.
the same crap's just going to keep happening. And that's why putting the boot in the ass didn't work for me, right? Because I didn't have the structure. I didn't have the safeguards in place. My buddy's floor store, he doesn't have the checks and balances in place, and that's what I'm putting in place for him. It's the only way to grow that and to kind of break that mindset. I love it.
It's not easy to do. It's not easy to do.
Oh man, look at this one. He knows a bunch of Florida appliance guys who wear sandals and loafers, but not Miss Ward. She's out wearing big boots.
There you
You're
go.
right though. I mean, they laid back. You gotta realize they laid back down here, and they don't see a problem with it, because these guys used to working in shorts and whatever. And I'm sorry, not my clientele, because it's no way I can charge my clientele a premium and show up on the doorstep like that.
Yeah.
But you got to also understand, you got different clients for different clientele. I mean, different customers, and you know but at the end of the day, you have a brand. The other thing I want to make sure though, you have to be disciplined first. You can't hold anybody else accountable if you ain't holding you accountable. So
That's
I
right.
don't ever ask what I don't give. And if I see my guys getting backed up or an issue, I'm there to support immediately. Plus I have my own clients customers I'm dealing with.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So TK, you have an interesting situation as well. You have
Right.
two businesses with employees, and they kind of work together, right?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. We have the store that we just started in September, and then of course the service company, and we've been juggling people around lately, because the the phrase that Zach uses all the time, aces in their places, that's 1,000,000% true. And so what I'm doing right now is I'm trying to look at my team as a whole and look at the people that I have working alongside of me and shuffle around the pieces. We had some crazy stuff go on recent. Well, not crazy stuff, but some things happening. My youngest tech, they had their baby early. It was like 3 months early. So, a lot of stuff going on there, trying to, work with him. He's back at the shop with me. The shop guy who was working at the shop, we transitioned into the van. And just trying to juggle people around. And, with the store, I have a new partner as well. So trying to figure out his strengths and weaknesses and, get him into a leadership role. And then simultaneously me shifting from service guy to store manager, basically, which, is a whole nother episode of probably not morning grind worthy. I'll say that. But yeah, it's constant, man. And the thing that's really been shown to me in the last few months is that you can make all the systems in the world, you can make all the procedures in the world, but if you do not sow into your team and lead by example, all those systems are worthless. If the leaders of the if the owners of the company aren't leading by example, you can forget about anybody else doing it. You might get a few people here and there that are just outstanding, technicians and follow your procedures to a T. I have one like that. Shout out to Robert. But we as leaders and we as owners, we have to lead by example. We have to be willing to show our team that, hey, this is the systems that I've set up. And then when we're doing the work, we have to show them, hey, this is how it's done. This is how I want it done. And set the example so that your team has that example to follow. Like, oh, okay, I get it. And then one thing that I've been really doing here lately is I've been taking situations that arise and making sure that I politely and in love let them know, hey, the reason this happened, guys, is because we didn't follow the systems. I'm not jumping on so-and-so. He forgot, but so have the rest of us. But if we had done this, if we had put this model number in, like I've told you guys 8,000 times, or if we'd put this cost of this part in, it would have saved me 15 minutes during my day. And you multiply that times 10, you do the math and figure out how much time is lost. And it's just one of those things with my team. We're growing. Our business is growing faster than the team is growing. And I think the mistake that a lot of company owners make is that we just hire anybody. Like, we're so desperate to get somebody into a truck or get somebody into a position. What Miss Ward said earlier is so important. You can't just go out there and hire any old Joe Schmo. You really need to be selective on who you add to your team. There it is. Hire slow, fire fast. And once those red flags pop up, man, when you gotta have a system for, all right, these are deal breakers. These are deal breakers for me. If you do this, you're gone. Sorry, I can't deal with you. Now, we've been fortunate in the guys we get. But at the end of the day, moving forward, I'm going to be following that motto of hiring slow and fire fast, because you can lose some money, man. You think you're going to make some money just throwing somebody into a truck that doesn't know jack and just, said he's a technician? Trust me, I know from experience it doesn't work that way.
I actually, so with all the crap that I went through, like once Miss Ward and I started talking, that's when I realized I was following the process wrong. I was hiring fast and firing slow instead of the other way around. And I live by that motto now. That's why I dropped that in the comments. Hire slow, fire fast. Take your time to hire someone. Make sure that it is a right fit for your company. Jose was asking, what are some good questions to ask on the interview process? What's your values, Jose? Like, what matters to you, right? What matters to Miss Ward? Her questions are going to be different than what matters to TK in the floor store, or TK in the Richmond Appliance guys versus what matters to EJ. There's certain things that are universal, and you already know to ask those questions, right? But as far as finding the proper candidate, what matters to you? What's your mission? What's your value? Right? Yeah. If it's providing exceptional customer service from the moment they pick up the phone, you might want to work on hiring a CSR who, like Shayna at My Office Help, is a more sensitive person, who's a more detail-oriented person. They're going to care about the customer up front. So they're going to get that experience right away. So you're going to ask questions differently of that than you're going to ask of a technician who's walking into a house. And so it's going to vary. You know the universal question to ask, but I'm and I just went through this process with EJ on some goal setting the other day. I'm going to push back and ask you questions. What's your mission? What's your goals? What's your vision? And then you can create the interview questions that you want to hire the proper candidate for the particular position you're trying to fill.
Yeah, I want to go back on that too. One thing Miss Ward said kind of hit me, and I do a similar version of this. So you're scouting them as you meet them. Like you're not really making a post like, hey, I'm looking for somebody. You're going out and finding people that have jobs and meet them. I was taught that early on in my management career is you want to hire somebody that has a job that ain't looking, because the ones that are looking, they left for a reason, right? And we lost TK. So you're finding out this information while their guard's down.
I'm going to put the rose between two thorns, by the way.
There you go. So I like to take my candidates to lunch. And, we're just chatting. We're just hanging out. If I can bring my wife, that helps too, because she'll get that feeling, and that woman's intuition or whatever. I like to lower the guard. So, but to Zach's point, I'm looking for a certain type of person. If you're looking for experience and hardcore skills, that's what you're looking for. I'm looking for somebody that knows how to use tools and kind of knows how to fix some stuff, and they're a great person, a people person. They communicate well and they have good morals, and then I teach the rest.
What's your answer on this, Miss Ward? What's your favorite way to ask questions for an interview?
Well, with me, people are really it's kind of weird, because when people meet me, they don't know what to expect, and when they see that what they see on YouTube is really who I am, like straight up, no chaser. And then I'm really good at mimicking people, like getting them very comfortable. So people will tell me stuff they don't even realize that disqualified their ass. Like I've had people tell me how they work for this company and they give them the company price, and then they turn around, lower the price, put the money in their pocket and do. I mean, like, we cool like that. We ain't cool like that. But you just let me know I can't hire you, because if you steal from them, you're going to steal from me. I mean, it's just, It's amazing how people let their guards down. And the reality is, we don't want you. But it's just, so the questions I ask, once I get past seeing whether they even qualify, the questions I ask is, what are their goals? Because I always want people to know that I am feeding into them first, that I have to pour into you in order for me to get what I want. But a lot of times you pour into people and they think they ready, but they ain't. And what it reveals is who they really are. So, questions I ask is basically, what are your responsibilities? Things like that. The reason I do is because a lot of times you want to look at work-life balance. How much can they work? What can they bring to the table? Because a lot of people think they can do more and they're already stretched just because they jump in for $1. Don't jump for a dollar. You got to make sure you can do the job well. I need you in the right mindset. Like I'm looking at all that. I look at how people think, how they move, and the decisions they make personally, because that's going to affect the business professionally.
I want to address Scott's comment here real quick. It's kind of a long one, but the gist of this and why I was pushing back on what Jose said is exactly this. Scott, your mission, your vision, your goals for your company are very different than someone else, right? You do not want anything but what you want. So you're going to stay a one man, and no one's going to pick on you for that. And if they do, send them to me and Miss Ward. We'll slap them around.
Facts.
But the reality is, if you're wanting to grow in a specific way, if you're wanting to do a certain thing, you're going to ask questions. You're going to hire a specific candidate. When EJ and I were going through his goal stuff, he goes, well, I can't get this to happen, and I'm trying to do this. And so we started in a particular position. I said, well, what's your vision? Well, I don't know. I kind of want this. Okay, well, who are you in this time? Well, I kind of think, and I'm like, and then I'm really drilling down with him. I'm really pushing questions and going, who are you? Who are you in 10 years? Who are you in 5 years, right? If you don't understand who that is, how can you set goals that far out? Because you have to be able to act that way now. You may not be perfect at it, right? Like you may not be actively acting that way all the time, but you can begin to act that way right now, right? So if you're trying to build a company in a specific way, you're going to begin to hire technicians in that way, but you have to know what you're shooting for. Miss Ward wants to be a global company. She's going to hire people based on a global mission mindset, right? That's entirely different than the one-man show and how he's hiring and how he's, slow rolling and growing and doing things in that way. They're very different questions. They're very different ways of things. And it does require a little bit more intense coaching and questions and stuff like that. But it starts with you figuring out what you actually want. Because if you don't know, you're just wandering around aimlessly. I promise.
Yeah, that's been my struggle this year, and it's well documented. There's hours of video on it. I knew my vision last year, and this year I'm struggling because some things happened that were unexpected, and some good, some bad, and now I'm looking at things different. But let's take this one last question before we roll, because I think it's a good one here. Where's it at? 2023 is around the corner. What expectations and different revenue streams are you most excited about? You want me to answer first? Okay. So, yeah, my vision, I got a pretty good vision for 2023 for me. I'm opening up to a new market to expand my territories. And revenue streams, I mean, that hits that. I'm looking forward, as far as revenue streams, I'm loving the GE Smart HQ device and the things I can charge more professional rates to do and the image that it gives me. So shout out to Smart HQ device. And my big mission for next year is getting my inventory into an electronic form other than a Google Sheet, so that we can increase our profits by managing our parts inventory better. What about you, Miss War?
My goal next year is really to kind of fade the black. I'm really big about, pulling back. And when I say that, I always tell people my personality puts me out front. I'm really antisocial, and I don't really like people like that. Even though I have a coaching platform, and the coaching platform, to be honest, came into play because I don't like people like that. Like I wanted to, people want to ask me questions, that's cool. Like I had to check somebody else. I was like, you better cash at me. This ain't free. You know what I'm saying? But the reality is, and people laugh about that, but all of us have worked very hard for all the knowledge we have. And we lost money. We got hurt feelings. We got some wounds that will never heal from these experiences, but they're constant reminders of growth and development. So my goal, the vision I have for next year really is to be able to balance my YouTube channel, my coaching, grow the government contract side. That's why a lot of my subs are around federal and military bases because of the relationships I have there. And really kind of move it to the point where I can kind of pull myself out of it. And I don't want to say autopilot because I hate that word, because I feel like you put stuff on autopilot, you setting yourself up to die. Like something's gonna happen while you're not looking. And I mean, I have no issue with AI. What I have an issue with is just the input into AI, the human error, and the fact that as humans, people are always trying to hustle. Player can't play a player. So my goal next year is to still be Miss Ward. Maybe get a little trimmer, but I don't know how that's. I've been working on that for a minute. But I'm looking forward to having having a great year. Really some balance on the personal side of my life, so I can smile a little bit more and actually, allow people in, and allow people to see the softer side of Sears. Because I don't like to do that. Just my friends, these two guys next to me, they get to see the tenderness.
Saul's feeling it. Saul's feeling it.
I love it.
All right. He wants that softer side.
So my next year, I'm really putting some processes in place to help my brother's flooring company kind of turn the ship around, and we're beginning to see the fruits of that labor. And it starts with a lot of the things that we're talking about right now. It's very much where I'm at, getting to know the team and getting to build that culture within the team. We're basically taking his entire company, breaking it down to zero, and building back up in the manor. He struggled for 5 years, just spinning his wheels with the same thing, because he's had bad partners, he's had bad employees, and it's all stuff that he's tolerated because he spent so much time on the road. So if you're trying to build a company and you're on the road all the time, it's really hard to build a company, right? And you end up tolerating a lot of stuff, and I feel every bit of that. So if you can find someone that can come alongside you and partner with you, if they're better at building those processes in place, bring them along to do that, right? Like, so that's what he's brought me in for. So getting the processes and procedures in place, building that stuff. And we might move into some commercial side stuff. There's some really cool things that you can do with flooring in the commercial space that you can't necessarily do in the residential space. And so trying to build up that side of things as we move into a recession where homeowners aren't going to have enough money, but businesses are beginning to go, hey, like, we really need to retool what we're doing. That's the kind of route that we're looking to go. So we'll see what 2023 brings, but I'm excited for a new challenge. So,
man, great question, Saul, and great answers, you guys. It really opens up how we as business owners and leaders see the markets around us and how we need to pivot and grow and focus in different areas. But that's I love it. So we do got some channel news, as Brandon would say, for the Service Alliance Group. All of those that are signed up and paid members of the All Access plan. Yeah, I didn't even see that. So that we were planning to announce that today anyways, Juan. So we said initially we would be doing the giveaway when we got to 100 All Access paid members. We're not there yet, but we understand. We're going to go ahead and do it. We're looking at December 10th, Saturday, probably around lunchtime. We're going to go live, and we're going to go each individual prize one at a time, explain who it is, thank the people that donated, and announce the winners. Okay, we want to try to get the stuff to you guys before Christmas. just as a little fun gift to end the year. And for those that ain't all access members yet,
got a little time.
You got until the 10th. We'll say you got until the 9th. Get in before we make the drawing. And, you missed the Black Friday deal, but if you want to get in on the giveaways, there's a lot of stuff. And I want to say this. If you're on the tech plan, the $25 monthly plan,
just upgrade. Quit playing around.
It's not a big difference to do the whole all access plan. And, you get a whole lot more with it. So anyways, that's that. We got some other changes coming too.
Yes. Yes, we do.
After Christmas, we're going to be switching to an all YouTube platform. We're having enough technical difficulties with Facebook, and so we'll be doing it we'll be streaming only live on YouTube, but we will be posting the YouTube link in Facebook, but it'll be after the fact. So if you still want to contribute to the conversation and interact, like we love it when you do, we'll be doing that on YouTube. So it's the same product, same content, same show. We just send everybody to the same place to get it. It's easier for us to keep up with the comments, and we won't have all the StreamYard Facebook issues.
So the two issues, StreamYard and Facebook don't like to play nice with each other. And we love StreamYard. It's an amazing platform, and I could care less about Facebook. So not that we don't love you in the Facebook groups. It's just Facebook as a platform. They make everything more difficult. So the technical hurdles, the only way we found to overcome that is by bouncing over to YouTube. So we're going to do that. The other piece of this is the community aspect. It's kind of hard when you're broadcasting into so many different locations. People are tuning in so many different locations. The community, which is so important to us, having that community bond. You guys aren't able to interact with each other as much in the comments if you're on all these different platforms. So we're moving it to one platform to continue to build that community even more. It's so important to us to have the community, and YouTube's the way to do that. It's just the better place to solve all the issues that we're having. So we'll see you over on YouTube after Christmas. That Monday, December 26th. You ain't tuned in on YouTube. You ain't tuned in.
We're going to talk about what everybody got for Christmas. And if you want to know what we got, you got to tune in on YouTube. So one last piece of channel news. Mastermind groups. Yes. Everybody's been waiting for the next wave. We've been tweaking and modifying and building up, improving the mastermind experience based on the experience of the beta test. And we will be releasing that for Q1 in January.
If you haven't filled out the poll at the top, the poll that I posted about what's an important topic for the mastermind to you as a business owner, make sure you fill that out, because EJ and I are going to go over that sometime this weekend and finalize the topic. So get your votes in now. We've been looking at them. Get your votes in. The poll is at the top. So,
all right, Miss Ward, thanks again as always.
Yes,
you got any closing words? You're muted. She muted herself, maybe.
I'm sorry, I muted myself because y'all cousins, next door. As we say in South Florida, two primos is showing out. They got kids in the hall. I didn't want to interrupt the video because, of course, I'm on the road in the hotel. The only thing I got to say, let's go get that bag. You know how we do. Let's pick up bags every day.
Let's get it. Hey,
it was fun being on with you again, Miss Ward. It's been a
bro.
minute. I love it.
You was talking earlier about the options you have. You don't got no option but to make it. So there's a Christian rapper. It's not Christian music. He's just a rapper that's Christian and clean. But NF, he has a song called Options, and the course is I got to make it or make it. These are my options. And that gets me charged up. It's like, this has got to work. I'm going. We're all in. So let's go get it. Let's win. Let's help people and get paid handsomely for it.
Love it.
Have a great weekend, everybody.
Have a good weekend, guys.